Right, I'm just starting my stream for, this is the Chess.com Arena Kings Week 7, Season 4, and it is Fischer Friday, which is Fischer Random. I just need to quickly pop into my stream so I can get the link to paste it. Oops, don't want that playing that. Right, that's my notification done, so we've got, what, 9 minutes left to the start of the tournament. And my rating in Fischer currently is 1946. I think we're going to find a lot of players, though, will be potentially significantly underrated compared to their normal playing skill. Like title players under 2000, not a surprise at all. It's actually a 2400 blitz player rated under 2000, so we could very easily get a night tonight where we have a lot of opponents who are far stronger than what their rating suggests, so it could be complete hit and miss results wise, but let's just see what happens. And yeah, we're up to 51 players now. That will go up substantially, I would think, every minute now. I wouldn't be surprised if we get comfortably over 500 by the end of the tournament. Right, just under 7 minutes to go. Let's see if the screen refreshes at all. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 12 titled, 13 title players so far. Hopefully that will go up. Right, 55 players now, 5 minutes to go. I expect a fair few more will join in the next few minutes. Well, we have somebody rated nearly 2800 who's not a title player. Must very high rating. I think so far is Vukar the only GM that I'm seeing there. I'm not seeing another GM there. There's normally a fair few. They could be all off playing in tournaments, so you never know. Right, 72 players now, just under 3 minutes left. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 13 title players, 14 title players. Yeah, 14 I think I counted there. Ah, Bortnik has joined, another Grandmaster. Hopefully we'll get more joining in these last few minutes. Ah, Vlad Dobrov is coming as well. Farouj has turned up, wow. Very strong field then. Right, this is just coming up to the 1 minute warning. See if the screen refreshes. Oh, Farouj disappeared. He's not on my screen now. I definitely saw Farouj there, but he's disappeared. Right, getting ready to start. 95 players so far at the start, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming in through as the evening progresses, I would hope. Right, that's the king's side, so let's just go with the king's pawn as normal. But how to get the queen out? Right, that pawn's protected. Got to get the queen out though. Okay. I'll put the knight there because I want the pawn up to release the queen. Now, do I stop that knight jumping in? The knight comes down, pawn up. Yeah, let's stop that knight jumping in and then hopefully pawn up next move. If I can get the queen up, I can then castle. Okay, I've still got the potential to castle the other side. Now I'm going to play the pawn up to release the bishop. Oh, he's castled that side. Wow. This could get interesting. Let's make it interesting and go the other way. So there's going to be an obvious pawn rush. Might be a mistake, but who knows? Right, let's go forward. Maybe bishop up is playable, but he's got pawn forward. Right, he just wants to storm, so go forward again. Maybe again. Not quite right timing, I don't think. Pawn up, bishop up, hit the pawn. Now means this knight can move. Try and move and hit the bishop, maybe go forward. Right, so we're hitting the bishop now. Right, he's come forward. So he's got a choice to take the rook or the bishop. He goes for the bishop, so let's trade so he can't castle. Get the other knight up. Okay, so knight in, cover these squares. Don't really mind about a trade. Keep the rook in the middle, maybe just put the king back. Interesting. Can I go forward? Don't think it quite works. I'm going to sack that one and try and go through the middle. If takes, I can take. Bishop takes, I can take. Or I can take first. No, I think it's better to take that way. Take there anyway. Now, should we go right through? Takes doesn't quite work. So let's protect the pawn. Maybe queen up's an idea. Ah, so he just takes it, okay. So does that give me a chance to go around the back now? King's on a light square, doesn't have a bishop check. If the bishop wanders off, I've got a knight check there. So the threat is to take this pawn, possibly push this pawn. Right, so he's allowed the pawn take, so I think I've got to go for it. He's got to block with the bishop. So he blocks with the bishop. Now I've got to take. So now can I go pawn forward? Ah, is my queen getting trapped? Potentially. Let's play bishop in. Threat of going forward. If rook over, maybe queen. Yeah, queen back so it's got an escape route. Still potentially bishop forward. Ah, I'm well short of time though, I've been too slow, far too slow. Yeah, I'm just lost on time I think, unfortunately. Okay, so he's come forward going for the mate. Yeah, I've got to take... Ah, the rook covers the check. So throw in a check. Offer a trade, but I'm just beat on time. There's nothing I can do really. Yeah, I've just got to abort that. Just try and win the king. Just run literally anywhere. Ah, I've blundered the knight. That's game over. Well played, let's get on with the next one. Right, this is the king's side. I think it's a bit bold going with that pawn. Let's just go a bit more careful and steady. Okay, very attacking. Let's develop the knight. See if he wants to take. He doesn't. So put the bishop up. Okay. Maybe pawn up to release this bishop. And if I can get the knight out, I can castle. Well, I can castle without releasing the bishop, but... Right, let's drop back trade. So now we're threatening a pawn. Knight takes, bishop takes. He's blocked that, so... Get the knight up. I expect he'll play forward, so... Let's just get castled. Let's put rook on the active file. Okay, so he's castled, sensible, so we're looking to get the knight forward. Right, knight back, we can still go knight forward. I think it makes sense to get rid of that bishop. Right, try and chase this knight away, then look to win a pawn. That's the only purpose of that move. So kick the knight. Comes forward, so it doesn't actually win anything there, so... Now, let's protect that pawn. We're offering a pawn sacrifice here to open the position up. He can still win this pawn. If he takes or take, he can grab the pawn. But then we may put pressure on this side. I might even waste the move, put bishop on g7 just so it's on a more natural square. Now that's a bold move. What's he trying to achieve? Does he want to storm forward? I think I've got to take whatever I've got to take. Okay, so maybe knight overlook to come over, hit the queen. There's pressure on the pawn as well. So what's he done? He's just gone on the queen side. I might as well take and take. Now I can grab a pawn or I can hit the queen. Let's grab the pawn. Very hard to win these games though, very hard. Right, so knight back and try and put it where it could have gone previously. The back rank is covered, but he's got two very dangerous knights. I think the bishop would sit better on g7 now. Now that might give me a chance to go forward. There's pressure on this pawn as well now. So knight takes, doesn't quite work. Could play a rook up now though, maybe. No, I'm just going to do what I said. Play bishop up, just so it's on a more natural square. Then maybe rook up to hit the knight, get one of the rooks into the game. Does it give him knight over that? Well, he's trading off now. I'm happy to do that. Simplify the position. If rook takes, I can take the knight, so he goes back. Okay, so now I get the knight forward, protects the pawn. If that knight moves, I get the bishop up. Now it's getting a little bit more difficult for him. So, do we grab a pawn? Yes, he's resigned there. He noticed his mistake. Excellent. Now, Ferrugia did come back in. He must have just had a very short break. Right, now this is the king's side, so let's just go with an e4, but the queen is in a horrible position. Right, let's play a knight up. Ooh, very bold. Very bold. Right, let's play a pawn up so we can take back with a queen. Now, I don't believe that's a great move. I don't believe that's a great move. Well, what to do with it though? No, I'm going to take here. Go f4. Now hit the queen. Now get the knight forward, so I'm threatening a check there. The knight can't take because of the queen pin. So even if he plays pawn forward, I can check anyway. So there's a nice check. Hit the rook. His whole position is just collapsing, but it's far from over. Far from over. So pick up the rook. That knight can't really escape though, so it's not really a free piece. So I can grab a pawn, queen takes. Well, he's hitting my queen anyway, isn't he? So I've got to play bishop up. Okay, so can't I just take and then take the bishop? Ooh, so he goes forward for the mate, okay. So I don't think there's any way I can block it other than maybe knight up. Actually, no, I don't like that. Pawn up, it's mate, so knight up he can take, but I can take back. If he takes the bishop, I can take the pawn, get the queen in. But this is still a very dangerous position for me, very dangerous. That will trade the queen off, that takes a lot of the risk out. Okay, just take that. Get the rook centralised. Pawn up so the knight can come down. So that's now playable. Okay, check. Let's just drop back. We want knight down next. Okay, so he's looking for a check, so I can play pawn up, knight check, king over doesn't look very good. Knight down. Actually no, I think I do need to play that. So if he checks and I go up, he can take a pawn. But he doesn't have a passed pawn there, so it gets the king into a better position. So check, king up, knight takes. Then I can maybe get the knight active somewhere. Okay, so let's get the knight active and hit the pawn. I'm behind on time, so gotta be careful. Right, knight up, hit the pawn. Okay, so if I hit the knight, if he comes in I just take. If he moves I can take the pawn, so it's take. Okay, so stop the rook coming down, maybe pawn forward. Rook up and across looks strong. I could even just blast the pawn. I'll just get the rook over. I think it's looking pretty good now. It's never over till it's over at the level like that, but it's looking pretty good. And he resigns, excellent. Now I'm going to start giving myself 30 seconds breaks between games, just so I don't get too tired like last week. Right, so I'll wait until it gets down to about 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds past. It'll be very interesting watching this back over the weekend, see how all these title players do against each other. There's definitely a knack to this, there's definitely a technique. I haven't quite mastered it yet, but I'm not doing too bad. Right, so again, that's the king side, queen's in the corner. Let's just pay our pawn up so we release the queen potentially. Yeah, get a knight up. I don't want the queen getting completely trapped in. Let's go forward, try and gain some centre ground. No, I don't like the idea of bishop up that way. I like the idea of bishop in the middle. Actually, now he's played the bishop there, I will put the bishop there, just so I've got the potential to go forward. I'd quite like that. Go forward, if we trade, the queen comes forward anyway. Okay, so I'll actually play that pawn forward. If he takes, I'll take, so I'll pre-move that. Goes forward, very attacking, okay. So knight can't go there, queen comes in. So that's a dangerous move. If the knight goes back, he's got queen check, bishop blocks. I think it's forced pretty much, so bishop will block the check. The pawn's still protected, that pawn's protected. I've got maybe knight up to hit the queen, pawn up to hit the queen. Knight up and he can take the pawn, so it might be pawn up to hit the queen. Okay, so he's grabbed the pawn while he can. Everything's protected there though, so knight up. I think I'll play knight up. We've got the potential for rook across, unless I'm blundering something, which I might be. He can take, then maybe pawn forward. Taking looks dangerous, so let's get the rook on a better square. Maybe line up an attack. Now we can't put the queen back there because it's covered. So he's got to maybe go there. He does. So now if I take, or do I... Let's get adventurous. Knight forward, hit the pawn. He could just play forward one move, and there's not really that much purpose to my move, is there? So yeah, it's maybe not a very good move, that. Maybe a bad move. I could drop the knight this way, but... Okay, so he allows the knight check. So we'll go for that. Then we maybe take back. Try and get the queen into play. Then we'll pressure the knight if we get the queen in the middle. The knight will be hitting the knight. I've got this knight stuck though, completely stuck. I can't castle kingside because I've moved the rook. Okay, so... Is that just a free piece? Check and check. Oh no, the bit, it's covered. What am I doing? Piece is covered, but it allows me to simplify. So it allows me to simplify. So now I've got the castle before he clobbers my pieces. Okay, so I think protecting that with the rook makes sense, followed by the queen. How do I castle? Knight up and knight over looks very good because he doesn't have a pawn to kick the square. So if I can get the knight up one square, it can then jump another square. And then he can't rush any pawns to kick the knight away, only the bishop or the knight. So knight over, he's going to challenge this square, so he'll probably go there or there. But I can castle now. Actually, the rook will protect the bishop, won't it? Is that right? Yes, the rook lands there, protecting the bishop. So now I'm threatening to take. So if he takes, I can take with either. I'll probably double the rooks up. Now it's easy to play knight forward. Ooh. So queen takes, queen takes. Is there any tactics there? Rook takes. Doesn't quite work. Just keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Straightforward. I'm a pawn down, so we want to try and get some material back. Just put pressure on the pawn. He can't go there because of check. So now, does it gain control? I'm not sure it does. Yeah, let's look to get the rook forward here. Okay, let's just look to try and keep some control. Get the king active. Okay, so he wants to come down here, so I'll try and stop that. Right now, I think pawn forward makes a lot of sense there. Okay, so where do I go? Let's hit the rook first so he can't just jump down. Now hit the pawn. Oh, he didn't take it. Wow. Now if I take, I've got lots of time. Take. He has to move next. Pawn down. He's got to go back. I think I'm alright there. He's got to move somewhere. So I think I'm alright here. That's an excellent one. Very pleased with that. So again, give myself just a slight break, just so I'm not overplaying. Right, another 10 seconds and I'll get on with the next game. Right, ready for the next one. Right, another 2,000, but obviously it could be a lot stronger than that in reality. I think I'll agree with that and I'll start in a similar fashion, but let's get a knight up. Okay, so get the other knight up. Now that's a pawn sack if I go that way, so let's just go 1 and 1, let's go the odd way around. Right, I'm going to castle king side, he's gone queen side. Okay, now do I sack a pawn? Why not? Let's just sack a pawn. Right, so now we can get active. How do we get active? I think queen up first to hit the knight makes sense. So now rook across onto their active file. Okay. So get the bishop active. If he comes down I can just take, he doesn't, so let's just take. Now, can we get that pawn? It doesn't quite work. We've got knight up, we can take. I don't like this, I don't like this at all, but I'm going to have to take, I think. Right, so now I've got knight over to hit the rook, and I'm hitting the bishop as well. If he takes the bishop, I'll take the rook. Right, so now we've got rid of one of his key defending pieces, so get the knight back over, get it onto an active attacking position. So actually knight there, stop that pawn advancing, I think that's a key move. But how do we shift that queen away from this? I'm not sure we do. I'm not sure we can. Knight in, I've got knight over to hit the rook. Let's go forward, put pressure on the rook there. If he takes, which one do I take with? It's got to be the H-pawn, I think. It's got to be the H-pawn. Oh god, I'm nearly a minute down. Where's the time gone? How on earth am I nearly a minute down? Ah, okay, so that allows knight over, I think. So let's drop back. He has got a check, but I can come up. Don't like the idea of coming up, but it's playable. Well, I'm going up anyway now. Rook across. Can't quite pre-move that, but we can anticipate. Now we want pawn forward here next. Oh, I had knight there. I had knight check winning the queen. Oh, wow. If he takes with a pawn, I win the queen. And he does. Wow, he missed it. Actually, I can take the rook first. So now I'm threatening check. I'm going there anyway, pick up the pawn. In fact, I've picked up the bishop, haven't I? That is an excellent win. Excellent. Wow, I'm chuffed with that. That is an excellent win. It's so easy. I was nearly a minute down on the clock. Yeah, nearly a minute down on the clock. Right, let's go again. Right, that's the king's side, so let's just go with a centre pawn and try and play the knight up. Right, he's taken a while for his first move. Okay, he's just thinking about it. It's very hard to work out positions initially. I like the idea of knight up even though his king's on that side. But I've got to get both bishops up. Okay, if he takes, I'll just take there. I want to castle king side if I can. Generally prefer to castle king side, so just get the bishop up. Now I might play the natural h3 to hit the bishop there. Now he's brought the bishop up. Turn my sound up. Sometimes I'm not hearing when my opponents make the move. Ah, so he's gone queenside. Okay. So let's put the bishop up again, straight pressure on the pawn, and try and bring the queen round this way. He might play pawn forward. He might do. He might play the other pawn forward. So he's gone for the trap. So bishop takes, pawn up. He's trying to trap me. So now I think I can take up and somehow try and get the queen in. Yeah, so now he's gone for the block. I'm going to play up now anyway and try and... I'd like to be on the light squares. I want to be on the light squares. In fact, queen up there is a strong move. He'd have to play across, so... He can't actually play across now because he hangs the rook. And I'm threatening checkmate in one here. That's a checkmate threat. And if he moves king across, the rook falls. So I think that was a mistake. I might be missing something, of course. It's very, very, very easy to miss something. So he's played the king to the other side, and that's probably the only move he could play. So after check, he has to go there. And then I've got knight in, check, he has to go there. Then I've got bishop check. I think that's checkmate, isn't it? What? I think that's a puzzle rush. I might be wrong, but I think it's a puzzle rush. Oh, it is wrong. I am wrong. The knight rock blocks a ruddy path. Of course it does. Ah, the queen. It does come back. It is a puzzle rush. I did find it. He has to come forward, and it's checkmate. Excellent. That's another one. I think 5 in a row must be a record for me in Arena Kings. I think it must be. But how on earth am I going to castle kingside there? Look at that. How am I going to get both bishops out? That's the problem with some of these positions, is when you get both bishops stuck in a corner. Very hard. I agree with my opponent to play pawn, but you normally have to play both pawns up, so we'll play that one to protect the pawn with the bishop. Ooh, so he's getting adventurous straight away. Now that, I think, is a mistake. I think it's a mistake generally to attack a bit too early. So knight over and look to trade these knights off, and he's wasted tempos. I hope he's wasted tempos anyway. So pawn up can hit the knight. Where does his knight go? Maybe there. Let's hit that knight. He could come forward, in which case I'll just take. That'll drag his bishop out. Then I'll play a knight up, I think. Oh, I've given him the check. What am I doing? Wow. Now he might go knight check there to win the rook for 2 pieces and the pawn. Or he might just retreat back, in which case he's got the rook anyway. Ah, but if he retreats away, that knight's in trouble, so... Okay, so have I got a saviour move to save that? Let's push that pawn forward to cut that. So now he's got to move the knight back. Okay, we've got to start attacking now. We've made a mistake, so we've got to get attacking. So let's protect that pawn, gain lots of centre ground, get the knight up. We can't castle, we have to remember now. We can't castle because we've moved the king. Okay, so pawn up again. So knight up. I think knight up's playable. If he takes, I've got to take with a rook though, so I can retake the pawn. So now I can retake the pawn, protect it. And then if I get the queen into play, hopefully I can artificially castle. Now pawn forward. Pawn forward takes, knight in, pawn down. I think I'll take there. I mean, clearly I'm in a losing position, having blundered, but got to get this queen in at really any cost. I mean, he might play bishop takes pawn, then he's opening his king up. He doesn't. He goes sensible, so I think queen up to protect the pawn. It also means I can step up in case he plays pawn forward. Okay, so I can't take because of the pin, but I can come forward and threaten this pawn. In fact, I'm threatening the pawn with the bishop already. The bishop is a stronger move because you fought both rooks. So if he plays pawn takes, then bishop takes pawn is the move. split both rooks. So he's given me the exchange then. So now throw in a check. Now we have got the option to take back. He does still have here, the knight covers it, but if I take, I'm actually threatening checkmate, which is easy to miss, and he has missed it. Excellent. That's another excellent win. A lucky win, but an excellent win. Wow, I can't believe that. Provisional early 4th place. That's never happened before. I'm absolutely certain about that. Right, now, the king's side is on the left, but again, both knights are in the middle, so I think I'll go with my opponent and bring both knights up and just castle. I have a feeling we're both going to be doing exactly the same thing here. And then bring the bishop up, pin the knight. Doesn't really do anything, I don't think. So, do I want to trade? I've got a target now. Queen up maybe. Right, let's stop that centre advance. It frees the bishop. Now, queen up does allow knight down. So let's get the bishop up first. Actually, I'm going to play the pawn up to stop his knight coming down. Now the queen up threatens to take. I've got knight in first. This must be bad for white, it must be. Hit the queen, then sacrifice, and if he takes back, you're threatening checkmate. So if he takes, I'm threatening mate next move. And I don't see how he stops it. He can't drop his knight back, the queen's filled the square in. So I think that's game over. I might be wrong, I might be missing something, but I don't think he can stop it. That knight can't go anywhere to cover that square. That one can go there. Well, he could actually, yeah, that's the move. He's got to give up the knight. It's the only move I see to prevent checkmate. That's the only move I see to prevent checkmate, to give the knight up. Knight to h4, he finds it. So I take and I look to go back again. So he might play pawn up, he does. So he has survived. Now I've got knight check, stops him going there, so he can come here. Queen down, something can come. It's got to be queen that comes up. And then can't I just take there anywhere? Take, check, I can simplify. Yeah, I can take that and then check. And just simplify the position a piece up. Okay, so it wasn't game over, but it's still a very good position. So now I can check and put a knight on a good square. So now the idea is to maybe get the bishop up. So if he get the bishop here, so if he drops bishop down, I can keep a nice permanent outpost, which he's going to find very tough to shift. So if he takes, I take. Oh, and he did do. Wow, I'm a bit surprised by that. So now it's a case of trying to expand up on this side. Just make sure I don't blunder any stupid checkmates, of course. So I think pawn up just one square, get the king out of the firing line. I could always play a pawn up and it's permanently supported by the bishop, but I want to open this side up. So he comes forward, so okay, I think I can take there and then just pawn forward. He's going to have to stop me getting the pawn. He's going to have to play pawn up. But he might stop me breaking through. Okay, so I don't think he can protect this pawn now. I'm 2 pawns up. I don't think he can protect that one. 3 pawns up should be enough to win. Now I'm hitting that pawn as well. And if he plays bishop in, I can always just play pawn forward if I want. Or I've got king up, bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. I don't see why I should give him even a glimmer of a chance there. Just get the king up now. I mean, 4 pawns up should be enough. I think I can get the rook round. Now I can't check there, you lose a piece, so go after this pawn as well. Then try and keep a solid defence. This rook can defend that pawn. Right, so now can I just run a pawn up? Ah, now I can trap him on the second rank and just play the rook over and threaten mate here. And surely trading has got to be winning for me, it's got to be. I don't see how he stops that. So now the challenge is just to actually avoid blundering a stalemate. Make sure I don't just give him any easy gifts though. So now he can't do anything there. So if I get a chance I'll play rook takes that bishop, keep the rook on a dark square though. Right, protect the rook so there's nothing he can do there. Excellent, another win. Wow. Right, give myself another 30-second break, otherwise I'll get tired. That's certainly the first time I've ever won 7 in a row in Arena Kings, it must be. Absolutely delighted with that. Right, so another few seconds, right, next match. Right, this is the king side on the left, so let's challenge the centre, then play knight up, pawn up, bishop up and castle, that'll be a plan. Now, is there any way to get an advantage earlier? I'm not sure there is. Right, this looks like near enough a normal position. They're all in the normal position, aren't they? It's just a normal game, this. Okay, so can I make it awkward for him by hitting the rook? I think I can. I think that gives him a problem. The only risk is there, he might try and trap me in if he plays rook across. He might try and trap the bishop, so I think it's sensible to retreat. So where to go to? See, it might tempt him to go forward. In which case I just gradually come back. I don't mind even trading off there, so... Okay. Let's protect that pawn. Right, so he wants to come in here, so... Knight up, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Then I'm threatening the knight. Or do I want a castle? Am I bothered about castling? Knight up, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop down. You can gain a knight, or you can... Actually, I think that looks alright. I think it looks okay. He might not take you, he might just play a bishop straight, and he has. But my idea was to actually take here. I don't think that quite works, so I'll just take. Right, now I'll grab the pawn while I can. Idea to get the bishop back if it's possible. He might just grab a pawn, but I can castle queenside. So the rook protects the check. So I'm going to look to trade knights and castle queenside. I'm getting behind on the clock again though now. I do find myself getting behind on time a lot of times, a lot of games. Okay, so he advances, so he's allowing me to trade. I think I'll do that, it's a bit safer for castling. Right, so now come forward and hit the pawn and hit the pawn. Sorry, my mouse control not very good. I can castle long next move if I want, but I'm hitting 2 pawns as well. Now if he plays pawn forward then I take this one, I'm then hitting the rook and the knight at the same time. Very tough to defend. he can't play rook across to defend it, so it's an awkward position. He might just play pawn forward here. He might play pawn forward. Can I get away with taking the pawn? Let him take and just king sidestep. Don't worry about castling. And then I'm still threatening the rook, but I'm not hitting the knight at the same time. So if pawn forward, I might just castle and let him take it. Or I could just play pawn takes pawn and open up the f-file. But then he takes this one. I think that's his best move, pawn down. Okay, so I can take, he can take with either. But if I take the pawn in the middle, I'm hitting the rook and I'm hitting this pawn as well. Or I can trade off the knight now. That's still covered, so I think it's easier to simplify and take, and now get castled if I can, even if it means abandoning a few pawns. I mean, I'm threatening to trap the... Oh, it doesn't quite work, does it? He's got pressure here. But now he's got to trade the queens. If the queens come off, he's surely got too little time. I don't really care about that, so I don't have a trick though. I've got to take. But now there's no need to castle, just play rook up. Sorry, king up and rook up. Okay, so get the rooks doubled up. Right, so actually, yeah, just don't give him even any half chance. Just get everything forward that little bit. If he comes forward, I can take. This could be dangerous though, so he's got to defend that surely. Well, then I'm in time to cover that, so that's winning, that's fine. That's game over. That's an excellent win. Right, give myself another 20-second, 30-second break. See how some of these elite players are doing. They're all doing very well, aren't they? Everyone's doing very well. Right, that's the king side, so let's try and go forward. All I need to do is get the queen out, make space for the bishop, and I can castle. So I'm going to do that straight away without worrying about any development whatsoever. So now pawn up makes sense. See, that's not a bad move, but I don't know if it was necessarily, precisely necessary. Okay, so stop the knight jumping in and line up d4 ideas. I'm covering his queen down here with the knight. Right, so let's go forward and try and gain some centre control if we can. Now pawn forward cuts this bishop. That pawn forward instead. Ooh, he's gone that side. Oh, I didn't expect that. Didn't expect that. My instincts are to play a pawn forward. Actually, knight up maybe allows bishop over, but I think I'd actually be pleased with that. Got to keep these protected though. Not easy. Knight over, knight moves, knight down. I'm going to play pawn forward, stick to my gut feeling. Again, I'm already 30 seconds down. Can't afford to be getting too slow like this. Now he does want bishop down, but I can block it. And then I can just push the other pawn the next move. That's the idea. And maybe bishop up to g2, so it's on a more natural square, is a nice holding move. So he's hitting this pawn. So pawn up takes, pawn up. Yeah, if he takes, I'm happy with that. It splits his pawns, then I'll just advance. If he grabs this pawn, or he does grab that pawn, so I can just open the position up now, I think. I think he'll take that way. But now it's about getting developed. This pawn's protected, that pawn's protected, so look to trade off the knight. Okay, so he's come forward with the pin. So that's dangerous, so... I've got to give up the exchange, don't I? Wow. I've blundered it, but I don't have any choice but to take back here. At least it'll get rid of his defending bishop, though. It could actually be a blessing in disguise, this. And move the other rook across onto this file and try and hit the king. Oh no, I'm very pleased with that. That cuts his bishop off. Rook across here and try and hit this pawn before he's got time to escape. So again, rook across. If he takes, I can take. Yes, if he takes, I'll take. There isn't a check yet, his knight covers it, so I'll take there. And I've got to try and get this knight up somehow. Maybe d2 is a better square. d2, possibly to f3. I've got a very open defence, haven't I? Okay, so he's come forward, so I've got bishop up. Pawn up doesn't work. Now let's just develop. I could easily be losing this game. Well, I am losing this game. It's just whether my opponent finds the finish. That's the only question. So maybe knight over, knight across looks bad. Knight, oh, that gives me a nice square. That gives me a nice square. Rook up doesn't quite work there. Actually knight over might not work that well either, but play knight up, he can have the pawn. Then what do I do? What do I do? I think bishop, get the bishop up so it can come down this side as a defensive piece, and it can also check there. Bishop up can give a check. Ah, no, he's left that square open. So now I can throw in a check. Okay, so now knight over, and it threatens checkmate there because the bishop's actually covering, so he can't take with either piece because it's checkmate. If he blocks, I might be able to take with, well, if he blocks, I can actually got checkmate with the knight as well. So what's his defence? Has he got a good defence there? Has he got knight over to hit the queen, cover the square? Yes, I think that's the move, but then rook takes, and if queen check, bishop blocks, I think is still a good move. So I'm going to anticipate it. He's got to take the knight. Oh, he's just sacked it, okay. Okay, so I think I should be fine on time now. Minimise the risk, stop the pawn advance. Get the king to a square where it can't be easily checked. Actually throw in some checks just for the sake of it. Drop back again, just pre-move that. That's another nice one. Very lucky though. I've been extremely lucky this game. Right, let's gain some space, get this bishop up. Well, nice win, I'll take it, but it was very, very, very fortunate. So give myself another 20 seconds or so. Oh wow, 33 points. That is amazing. 33 points in the first hour. Right, ready for the next one. Oh, Paul from SPB. Now this is going to be a different league altogether, so with the best will in the world, I should not really be able to win this game, but you just never know. You've still got to play with the right attitude and try and play as well as you can. But of course, the Grandmaster really should be too strong for me, but let's castle. The pawn protects the knight. So now try and get the queen in. Pawn up is possibly playable there. Okay, so if I go pawn forward, I don't like the look of that. Let's get the bishop on a better diagonal. So if he takes the knight, I'll take. If he takes the other knight, I'll take. So now there's pressure on the bishop. Okay, so I could advance the pawn there. I could trade rooks off. Bad rook for bad rook. Actually, why not? Let's put the pawn forward. The knight protects that. He could win a pawn. He has. Okay, so he's gone for the pawn. Will he take the knight? No. So I think... what do I want to do? Put the pawn on a light square and try and release the queen. Right, get the queen up. I think bishop up, and he's probably going to play forward. I don't really want to trade pieces off if I can help it, so... right, pawn takes, knight takes. Okay, let's take first. He'll take... so which pawn do I want? Let's go with that one and then take here. I don't know. I shouldn't really be pre-moving against it in this position, but does it make sense to take with the knight rather than the queen? No, I think I need the queen in the middle. Oh, and I've blundered a piece. Blundered a piece. Okay, let's threaten mate. He's still got a check, but I can sidestep, but I'm threatening checkmate. If I'd have taken the bishop there, he had a lovely queen check. And he would have picked up the bishop for free, so get the bishop. Now if I play a king up, it looks safe, but it just walks straight into this, so I can't play pawn up. He's threatening to check and win the pieces. So what about queen down? Does it defend? I'm not sure it does. Let's throw in a check first. Alright, now let's hit the knight and hope I've got a defence. I might not have. Oh, again, I'm already 50 seconds down in this game on the clock as well, but I'm playing a Grandmaster, so it's what you expect really, isn't it? These are the games you should just relax, chill out and enjoy as a chess player. Just relax, chill out and enjoy them. Now, can I go on the dark square there? I think I have to. Okay. So where can I go? I've got to challenge the knight. Oh, I've given him a queen check. I thought he was going to trade the queens off there. So can I play bishop up and defend the pawn? He's got check. Okay. So king across. He's got to move his knight somewhere. He's probably checkmating me. He's obviously far, far, far too good for me normally. So I'm probably getting checkmated. So let's cover the back rank. If he takes, I'll pre-move, just take back. Yeah, if he does take, I'll pre-move. I don't think he will. I'm sure he's looking for a forced mate, and he's probably got one. But I played the queen down to cover that move. Okay, well now his knight's pinned, so drop the bishop back then. Yeah, I'm just stuck, aren't I? I'm literally just stuck and smothered. So let's look to trade queens, but there's nothing I can do, I'm just out of time. He's far too fast for me. But that's what you'd expect. He can just take all the time in the world now, he doesn't have to do anything fancy. Let's go forward. Yeah, it's just a case of a formality, isn't it now? Yeah, nothing I could do there, but I think I put in a credible performance. Well, that's not bad, is it? Not bad. Got a game with a Grandmaster again. I thought I did reasonably well there. Right, that's the king side on the left. So I want to get castled as quick as I can. Oh, that's got to be a bit bold. That's got to be a little bit bold. That's a bit too aggressive a move. But I might castle queen side even here. If he's playing moves like that, I might go queen side. Let's just develop for now. Yeah, I'm going to castle queen side, so we're threatening the pawn. Okay, so we could take and win a pawn. I don't see why not. Let's get the pawn, hit the rook, drop back and hit this pawn. I can castle queen side now. I've got a nice blockade there. I've given him a half open a file though, so that's easy to go wrong. But let's get castled, step out of any shenanigans with pawn down. Okay, now I don't really care if he gets a pawn here, so let's just let him take, and then we should win this pawn at the end of the sequence. In fact, should I grab the pawn first? Let's just trade and grab the pawn, drop back. So I should be a clean pawn up now, but we're hitting the bishop. It is covered by the knight, but we're hitting the bishop. So we want to try and distract that knight. I have no idea how. Right, knight forward threatens a pawn. It also means it can come down here. I want this knight active though. Actually, let's just take the knight, get a nice square, hit the pawn, and then we might go in and jump here anyway, even if he advances, and then that would be the centre control. Okay, that just puts me to a nice square. As long as I play a pawn forward, so I'm not getting back ranked at some point, that's fine. Right, so knight in into here anyway. He might play knight over, he has, but now I've got check. So I think he's going to have to plonk the knight straight back there. He does. So now I can come over and threaten to take this pawn. Now what we need is to get this rook active. Get the rook and knight active. Maybe sack this pawn to do it. But I still like the idea of playing a3 actually. A6, so I don't risk a back rank somehow. I don't want to get careless and give him a simple sloppy back rank. Right, so now if the knight comes up here, it doesn't go anywhere except it can come here and here. So he's traded the rook, so hit the bishop again. Well, now he's walked into a pin, so now the knight can come over to one of two squares. Either hit the bishop directly or you can hit the pawn. Okay, so he walks away from that, so if I hit the bishop, I think he's got to go back. Then I'm pressuring this pawn, so maybe rook in. Actually, I think before I do anything, I'm going to play a3 just to make certain I can't be back ranked. I don't want to lapse in concentration and chuck it down the drain, because I'm definitely winning this game. Oh, he must have just missed it. Oh, he's going for that back rank idea. He is, so throw in a check and just bring the king up. In fact, bring the pawn up first. Don't give away a free pawn. Now it's all good. In fact, I'm a checkmate in there. That's checkmate, isn't it? What am I doing? It's mate in one. It's a nice puzzle rush I had and I didn't see it. But it's actually a mate in one. And he can't even play pawn up to defend it, so that's game over. It's definitely not a stalemate, he can move pawns, so that's another excellent win. Chuffed with that, excellent. FIDE Master 2500, wow. Again, just like Paul from SPB, should be on paper far too strong for me. Far too strong. So stop that knight jumping forward and then play another pawn up. The only trouble with this idea is that it's not easy to castle. I'm not kingside. I can castle queenside, but I don't really want to. Not easy. Ideally I need pawn forward, but it's surely too risky. I don't see anything better though. I need to get this knight up. Right, now I can castle, but my queen is just permanently stuck. So I think, knight there, or do you go there and protect the knight? Let's go there and protect the knight, hit the pawn. But now, I've got to get the queen off that line. I'm going to have to castle queenside, or just not castle. Or is there any tactics? I don't see them. Okay, let's just get the bishop up. Okay, so now we're going to castle and just move the king across. Okay, I'm not too worried about that just yet. I might be in a few moves' time, but not just yet. So can I go forward? Don't think so. Pawn up is interesting. I think I can play a pawn forward there, alright. So take, take. The queen covers that pawn. So I'm hitting the bishop. Okay, so now I think I can go forward there, and again if he takes, I can take with either piece. Keep it in over as normal. I can take with a pawn, knight or bishop if he takes. Okay, let's take. So if he takes, do I play rook takes knight and make it interesting and then pick up a pawn? Yeah, but why not? I'm outrated by 500 points, I've got nothing whatsoever to lose, so let's pick up a pawn. Just make it an interesting game. I mean, if you're going to lose, you might as well lose trying to win, as lose not trying to win. So that allows me to play bishop up as a blocker. Ooh, it's come forward, wow. So can I get the knight forward? Doesn't quite work, I don't think. Okay, let's just pin that knight. Right, now I'll come back as a blocker and look to trade. If I can trade, I need to get this queen in as urgently as possible. Right, now I think, can I get the knight over? Or is he looking at knight takes? He is. So I think I need king up to guard against knight takes. Ah, he's still got it, so I'm going to have to sack another exchange. Wow, I didn't intend to do that. Did not intend to give up 2 rooks for 2 minor pieces. So I've got a queen check, so try and get the queen into play. So let's go for protect the bishop, potentially go forward again. So if pawn takes, knight takes, that's covered, so get the queen across and look to come round. Okay, so queen over is a bit annoying, isn't it? So just don't see anything better. Again, I'm so far down on the clock. He's given me one of the exchanges back, but it's not really what I needed, was it? I think I've got to take. So again, I think I've put in a creditable performance, but I just can't win now. My king's basically stuck. I don't think I can really do anything with it. Try and get in the middle, then at least he can't check me. In fact, no, I can't pre-move, but I'm just lost on time. There's nothing I can do for time. Just stuck on time. My only hope is to just repeat. It's literally my only hope. He's going to have to sack the rook though to break through, so... But I can pre-move going back. Probably shouldn't. Okay, so now I can move the king and move it back. Ah, again, I can't pre-move back in case he just takes. Right, so let's run the pawn. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here, is there? Nothing I can do. Right, we've got to try something. Very nicely done. Right, I'm going to vary it now. Oh, has that trapped his rook? It has. So I got it, so I can resign that one. Oh, my time was up anyway. I was just going to resign it, but my time was up anyway. But again, not a bad effort. Considering I'm outrated by 500 points, not bad at all. Right, so let's try and go kingside again. I might play f3 just so this bishop's going to be free at some point. Okay, so I'll grab a pawn. My opponent might do the same thing. He does. But I'm the one with the first move, so... Okay, takes back. So I get a development move at least. So I can play a bishop up. So you can either take the rook or you can take the bishop. But at least I've got the bishop developed. No, he has taken the bishop. Okay, so I'll keep the rook. So now, ooh, can't do that, can't do that. I'd like to castle. Oh, he's allowed me to castle. I thought he was going to get his queen up, so I couldn't. Right, so pawn up and get the knight over. Try and come over too. Again, he's playing extremely well, isn't he? For 1400 to play this well, brilliant. Now, what can I do here? What can I do? I want the knight over, but it just feels like I'm giving him something on this side. But it's got to be on a better square, it's got to be. Now, knight forward here looks tempting. Now he's cut that out. So I think pawn up and up to trade and gain a tempo on the queen. Just try and gain a little bit of space, but even here I'm getting behind on the clock again. Okay, that's a nice move. So, can I put pressure on the knight? Right, so queen up and up to get the other rook across. Right, so he wants to take the knight, or I can take the bishop, but I think rook across hits the queen. I don't see how he defends the bishop, so I should be able to play takes next move. So that should be game over. I'm not saying it is game over, but it should be. He's very unlucky there. He's played extremely well in them first opening, what, 16, 17 moves, extremely well. But now it's just about simplification. Now, where do I put my knight? You know what, let's just play queen over, put pressure on the knight. He might play rook across. He doesn't, so look to trade queens. I just want to simplify as much as I can now. Okay, so can I go forward and try and win the pawn? If I go forward, knight defends. I'm going to risk it, but this is really risky, this, and I've got to play h3 or h4 again, so I can't be back ranked. I'm worried about that. But I want to play the other rook forward and stay on this 7th rank. That's the reason I want to keep that rook there. Right, so he has defended it, so if I play forward now, I'm threatening to take with a check, which is all important. And if he left his rook there, it would actually be mate. That comes up in Puzzle Rush quite nicely, so okay, I can trade. I don't see anything better. Now, if he blocks again, I can pin the knight, and then he would have to drop back and guard his knight again. He's still got a pretty decent position actually. I need to get this king across as soon as possible. This knight is just doing nothing. It's doing absolutely nothing. Ah, so this time he abandons it. Okay. Get another one. The knight check doesn't actually do anything now. It just means he's got to run away. So I'll get the rook right out of harm's way. Right, now I feel like I'm okay. So, right, throw a check and pawn up. Get the king up. Okay, pawn up and knight forward maybe. Right, hit the knight, and if it moves I've got knight up. Okay, that's a nice move. He's still got a problem of how to deal with this. I've given him a check though, but then I can come up. So I've given him a check, but I've come up. Okay, get the king up anywhere. Right, just defend. Nothing sloppy. So pawn forward next move. Well, he gives me a check first, then forward. Just running the clock down. Get the king over to defend. Okay, that's a nice idea. Does give me a chance to pin the knight though. So pin the knight. Now I can win a pawn. Just drop back. He's very unlucky there. What a game he played for a 1400. Obviously he could be a much stronger player than that just with a low Fischer rating, but what a great game he played for a 1400. Very impressed for the rating. Right, I'll wait another 10 seconds, then I'll get on with my next game. Right, next game off. We've got 46 minutes left. Right, so I think I'll go in the middle again and then pawn up to try and release the bishop, but you have to shift your queen as well. There is a threat bishop on the diag there, so again, I agree with my opponent. Ooh, not sure about that. You know, let's just give ourselves the option to take back if he takes, and he does. Okay, so get bishop up and queen up, and then we have the option to castle. Bishop, where do I want the bishop? Let's just go back to its natural position. Yeah, queen up and look to castle. I prefer to castle long generally speaking. And I'm going to do that again. Okay, again he's getting a bit bold, but you know, what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with being bold and attacking, aggressive. Right, takes, right. I'll try and throw a pawn up the board as well. Now, so he wants to open it, but I could trade bishops off in doing that. Hit the knight, lose a pawn. I think hit the knight first. I think that makes sense first. Now, can I grab a pawn here? I think I'll take there first, and then I'll try and grab this pawn. I think that's fine. If he takes, I can take with knight or queen here. Which one do I take with? Possibly the queen to keep the knight there. If he plays bishop takes, I take and I get a tempo on the rook, but he does have this menacing threat coming. So it could very easily go horribly wrong, this. Very easily. Right, I think I need to take there. Now, do I go forward? No, I think I need to take and hit the rook. I've just got to trust that I've got some sort of defence. Which I may well not have, of course. This could be very easily lost in a few moves, so... And it probably is, isn't it? King over, but this pawn, how can I defend it? I can get the rook across with the bishop, but how can I defend that pawn? I've maybe got knight forward. Knight forward's maybe a tricky move. Knight over to hit the rook, but that might just push him towards the pawn. Might be a bit silly. I need this pawn forward to threaten a check. Yes, it does. He comes forward, so... Got to defend that. Ooh. What? What happened there? Wow. He could have just played rook takes bishop that last move, couldn't he? I think I missed that. Wow. I definitely should have lost that one. Without a doubt I should have lost that game. So maybe I'm riding my luck a bit tonight. But Women's Grandmaster Nobelsina. Right, so let's go in the centre. This looks like a relatively normal position. We can castle very easily. Knight up and you can just castle, so... Okay. Yeah, let's go knight up first. Let's take and just castle. Just get it out of the way. So it looks like a Caro-Kann in effect, doesn't it? Let's get the knight up though, get the pieces into the action. Again, at 2-2-20, I suspect she's a much stronger blitz player than a Fischer rating says there. And straight away I've blundered the exchange, so not to worry. Right, let's just get developing. Oh, hiya Simon, how are you? I'm having a pretty good tournament so far. Okay, she may just trade here, just to simplify now she's got the exchange. Okay, so I could play bishop takes, pawn takes, but I don't really like the look of that. Knight over. I certainly don't like the look of giving away that free pawn as well. Maybe king back's sensible actually to... is it? Not sure. Not sure. Yeah, let's challenge that knight. If she takes, I'll take with a pawn. Okay. Right now, she's definitely going to take this time, I'm sure of that. Unless she just doesn't want to simplify at all. She might want to complicate the position as much as possible. I've got to try and break out somehow. Okay. That's a very nice move, so... I don't think my queen is trapped, but I might be wrong. So does she have knight down? No, she retreats, so she does want to keep all the material. So let's pin that knight to the rook. Okay, so can I get the bishop into a more centralised position now myself? Take, take. Not quite so sure about that. Let's hit this knight. I'm going to try and put pressure on going forward. Okay, I don't really care if she gets the rook. It's the mate or bust I'm going for, so pawn forward. Okay, so now I know I'm completely busted here, but at least it creates a threat. Oh, you're playing this as well, are you, Simon? No, you're not distracting me, don't worry about it. It's yeah, I'm playing a Women's Grandmaster, so with the best will in the world, I should be losing the game anyway, and I'm 2 exchanges down, so, you know, whenever I play Grandmasters or the higher rated title players, it's just purely about enjoying the experience. You don't really expect to win. You play to win every game, but you don't really expect it. A win would be a bonus, of course, but I'm doing my best. Now, how do I make this tricky? Can I get queen across and try and go here, followed by knight? She's got the defensive move or two there, but... so, knight over, queen back. Can I play knight takes? That clearly doesn't work, so... No, pawn down doesn't work. Pawn down there's a bit annoying though, that's not bad. Now I've got the fork, so we hit the 2 pieces. so trade and get one of the exchanges back. Grab a pawn and protect the other one. I'm doing not too bad here. Okay, grab another one. Just drop back. So I think king up. Yeah, and you, Simon. Hope you have a good tournament. If I had a bit more time, I'd be in with a chance here, because I'm back level material. 1, 2, 3. Let's try and kick into bullet mode and see if we can do something. Keep everything on light squares as much as we can. In fact, I'll offer a draw. I know she won't want it, but you might as well offer it. Oh, I trapped my knight. Ooh, I thought I'd trapped my knight there. Right, now I can push the other side. Oh, I must have had a bit of a pre-move issue there. I haven't got a clue what's happening there. Not to worry. That was an interesting game. Just 3 seconds left. That was interesting. Very nice game. Alright, give myself a 30-second break, then I'll get on with the next one. Where am I now? 12 out of 16, that's amazing. 40 points, I'm chuffed with that. Right, both bishops together are always tricky to handle. But I like to castle kingside generally if possible. So let's just develop slowly and steadily, get the bishops up. Actually, let's try and go in the middle. Try and gain some centre ground. Okay, let's me advance. I'll take that all day long. It does allow a potential knight forward though. So let's just play up and up. I think we've both got the same ideas about castling before we do anything else. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Let's take knight up. So I need queen up to castle long, short. You've just got to be very careful about a bishop pin when you play moves like that. Yeah, so we both wanted to castle the same way. Right, knight in, that's a good move, so drop the queen back, keep the pawn covered. So, knight down and offer a trade of knights. It does maybe blunder a pawn here though, but it's too late now, I've done it, so got to go with it. I suppose I could get rook across and return the favour that way. Okay, so let's hit the knight and guard that pawn from coming down so we can take if it advances. So again, go right back to the same position, so bishop can come down but the queen can sidestep. Okay, so how do we get a good position? I think knight over, it's covered by the rook, bishop's pressuring the knight now, and the knight wants to come into the middle. And I think I'm going to sack a pawn to get rid of that bishop. Okay, so We'd like to take there. Queen takes. Win a pawn back with a tempo on the bishop. So we're hitting the bishop. Again, my opponent's playing very, very well indeed, though. Very well. So let's get the queen up and try and come around the back and put pressure on the g-pawn. Okay, so queen over, threatening a check. You can't block it with either rook. You can't block it with a queen. So, now what do I do? Maybe... Ooh, that would have been a terrible blunder. Let's just play a holding move and make sure the king's got an escape square. Okay, so... where do we go? Bishop down, hit the rook and the pawn. I'm anticipating the rook's going to come down. I could be completely busted here, because I'm not defending my key square at all. Ah, bishop check, but now... I think... is it better to get up? No, we've got to take. Put pressure on that pawn. But I'm clearly losing this. I should be busted completely here, so... king up so there's no immediate pin. Right, now I might be able to get both rooks forward. Even though I'm losing, I think it's worth trying. Right, there's a pawn. Ah, he's blundered. Wow. He just missed it and blundered. Very unfortunate. Right, next game, there's half an hour left. Right, let's play a pawn up first, because both bishops are in the corner, which is horrible. Horrible. Right, so I think we've got to play that, but we've got to play the other pawn forward as well at some point. But let's get the knight up for now, possibly castle queen side. Get the knight up. Pawn up, other knight up. Okay, well this might make it interesting. So I can take here now. That's all protected, so... knight up, get a tempo on the queen. But if I want to castle queen side, I don't really want to take there because it opens the file up. So just get the queen up so we have the option to castle. And I think we'll do the same thing, and then king across. So pawn up, pawn takes, rook takes, simplify. I don't really like the look of that. Knight over takes, takes. Not really a fan of that. Let's just get the bishop up so we're on a better natural square. Maybe this pawn up just one square. If we go up two squares, we could just exchange off and simplify, but then we get a bad pawn. Yeah, let's roll the pawns forward. Right, so one square. Okay, offers a trade. Now, do I sack a pawn to get rid of a bishop? So I'm looking at knight over, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, but then bishop takes here. I like the look of that. So if everything takes, I might then play bishop takes here. Open that king's position up. So queen up and hit the pawn. Just look to go forward. So queen up and hit this pawn. Maybe go here. Trouble is, the queen back is a good defensive move. I've got bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Let's play it anyway and try and force the queen back to defend. If not, we've got a very strong knight move. We want to get the knight in here if we can. Okay. Now let's get the knight forward. Now we've got all sorts of potential threats coming. There's a knight check to win the rook. Just keep it simple. But my opponent's got two outside pawns if they go for the gamble. I think I've got to take the pawn there. Now, does this run into a puzzle rush? Queen down, knight, check, king over, checkmate. I think it does. I think this is a puzzle rush. If queen down, it's mate in two. It's very easy to miss it. I'm threatening checkmate there. So that's a nice puzzle rush finish. Excellent. That was a nice one. So where are we? 28 minutes left. Thank you very much, Simon. Yeah, I hope you're pulling off some nice wins like this in your own games. Well, I'll give myself another 20-second break, then get on with the next one. I can hardly believe that 10th place after an hour and a half. That's just unheard of. I cannot believe that. I clearly won't finish there, but I've still done really well to get there. 45 points is a new personal best for me in Arena King, so I'm chuffed with that. Right, next game. Right, again, bishop right in the corner. Actually, let's play pawn up first. Or maybe go d-pawn forward. Yeah, so d-pawn, the bishop is protected by the rook. Okay, closes it off, so now we can just bring the knights up and the queen up and castle. Okay, got to be a little bit careful. Just protect the pawn. Right, I want to just get castled if I can, but both bishops are in the way though, so one knight over here, bishop up. Then we just need queen up and we can castle either side. Now that knight's going to be annoying. Very annoying, so... see which way the knight goes. I can always drop the bishop back or put it forward. Okay, so... if I play... I think I'm going to castle queenside instead, I'm not sure. Let's get the bishop up onto its natural square. Alright, so a knight comes that way, so I'll drop the bishop back and look to trade off a set of knights. Not sure which one yet. Probably this knight to here. Yes, and I think it does make sense to castle on the queen side now. Right, so if the pawn comes forward I can advance. I can put the bishop here, so just advance. If the knight comes in I'll just take. Then the pawn forms a nice blockade. Okay, so bishop up to protect the pawn. But I think, as far as I understand it, I've got to move the rook so I can castle, because the other rook wants to land there. I think that's right. Okay, knight over, so the other option is to get the queen active and try and really fly into the game. So let's do that. Give them something to think about. Okay, so sensible. I think the queen's got escape squares if the pawns fly forward. I'm going to castle this way into a right viper's nest. Make it interesting, just fling the pawns forward. That, I'm guessing pawn forward, otherwise I'm going to play it myself. What's he done? Knight over, so hitting the pawn, but it is protected. Alright, so get the pawn in while I can. Okay, even if takes, I can take back there. It could be losing, the queen could come in, but I'm going to try and open this up. So pawn forward. It's just about the speed attack. If pawn takes, I can actually take the bishop there. Now, I've got a knight check, and then maybe in here. Knight check, can't take back, so if king back, knight check. Now let's keep it simple, because I've got this attack to defend. But now this queen's got a nice free path in. Now, can I play king up and rook behind? Possibly. Okay, so knight over, so I've still got knight check either side. I think that's the better side. If you go back, I get a check and hit the rook. If you go there, what do I do? Knight takes. It's got to be knight takes, and then I can get the rook in with a check. Right, so now I can play knight over, hit the rook, and I can always jump into the middle. Then we'd be pressuring the pawn. But that rook's pretty stranded now. I think rook across. Now rook comes forward, okay, so do I go and get ambitious and sack? No, let's just check and try and open the path up, so get the other rook into play. But again, for a 1300, my opponent has played exceptionally well, incredibly well. Right, now I actually want to target this rook. Might just play rook down, but then I've got a possible pawn forward. In fact, I can play pawn forward now. I think that's winning. I might be wrong, but I think it is, because even if you take, I can take back with a check. And the knight can't block anywhere. So I think that wins a piece. In fact, I can take that rook as well. Oops, nearly blundered. So throw in a check and pick up the knight. Actually, I might have a checkmate coming here, so... No, pick up the knight. Now I've got rook check. This has got to be winning. Well, this has to be won, so how do you do it? Check, check, and then the back rank, yeah. So check and checkmate. Excellent. Again, what a good performance my opponent played there for a 1300. I suspect his blitz rating is a fair bit higher than that. Very, very well played. Where am I now? Wow, 9th place. 20 minutes to go. No, Simon, I'm not quite a doctor. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's trade off my bad bishop. Let's make it something different. Just for the fun of doing something different. Why not? Again, I've got somebody... Oh, it's Nisu. I've played Nisu twice before, and I've lost twice before. He's a 2400 blitz player. So again, he's somebody who realistically is a little bit out of my league. So this is just a game to enjoy. It's not really a game to expect to win. He's a completely different level. He's a hell of a lot stronger than what his rating suggests. Now luckily for me, I happen to already know that. So let's get the bishop up and try and castle king's side. I think Nisu has actually had a top 3 finish or something in one of the events. He's won some prizes in this. He's a very strong player. Right, so do I let him take? If I take, the knight has to go back there, otherwise the rook hangs. Then queen back. Don't really like it, don't see anything much better. Pawn takes doesn't look very good. Let's just take it. I'm guessing knight's going to go back and then maybe queen back. Yeah. So, queen back to, excuse me, protect the knight. Okay, now I'm getting swamped a bit, so... It is actually possible to castle here, but then he's got bishop takes, queen takes. Actually, why not? I think that's possible, because he's blocked the path for his bishop here. He's got the queen, But if bishop takes, queen takes, and my rooks are covered. Okay, so I could play knight takes there. I've got king takes. It looks really crazy, but if I take with a king, how do I get anything done here? No, that just loses. No, I'm completely busted here. I've played this reasonably poorly. Right, let's try to bail out and just lose a pawn. I'm definitely losing at least a pawn here, so... Okay, so get the knight forward. Maybe rook over, I think. If takes, I can take with a queen. Yeah, I'm already a minute down again. No, I think this whose rating is actually a lot higher than 2200, Simon. I think it's... I'm sure he's well above that. I think at his best he's above that anyway. He's in another bracket to where I am. He's certainly, you know, comfortably stronger than myself, so... I mean, like now I'm a minute and 10 seconds down on time, but I'm not really bothered about these games. These games, when you're really that outrated, it's just about the fun and enjoyment of playing the game, so... Let's play a pawn forward, but I'm just completely boxed in. There's nothing I can realistically do here, so... Pawn forward. I've not really got any moves at all, have I? Maybe pawn forward is playable, but everything's just completely out of the game. So pawn forward. Just takes. We're just waiting for the inevitable end, really. So... Yeah, I don't even have any good dodgy moves to play. Nothing there, is there? I think I'll just give him that one. Get on with the next game. There's no point playing on when you're lost, so... But yeah, I know I've played him a couple of times before. I've lost a couple of times before. He's a very strong player at the level I play at, he is, so... Now, this is the king side on the left where the bishops are, so again, difficult to get them into play, so let's get the knights up. Yeah, I think sometimes when you're in a tournament you're better off just biting the bullet and moving on with the next game, rather than trying to waste too much time. Okay, Simon, good luck for yourself as well. Now I can castle queen side. That looks sensible because it's a lot easier. Okay, I'll get castled, I'll let him do the taking. He might take the knight actually, chooses not to. Okay, pawn up so the bishop can come up. Right, let's just get the king across. He might take either way, it doesn't. Now can I get this bishop trapped? Bishop takes... it's a bit risky, a little bit risky. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Oh, what the heck, let's go for it. If he takes the bishop, I'll take the knight. If he takes a knight there, I can take and the rook still covers the bishop. I might be giving up a pawn, so he takes the bishop, I'll take the knight. So now I'm threatening to take with a check, and that way I pick up the bishop. If he takes the knight, obviously I take back with a pawn. So now it's a case of can I develop... I've got the extra piece, can I get my other pieces developed and not just blunder it all? Now, queen up is a really ugly move to play. Really ugly move to play. Knight over invites pawn down. Could drop the knight back, I suppose. King up and he's got a check. I can't play king up, I might have to drop the knight back. I could play queen across. Knight over tempts pawn down. Okay, he doesn't go for it, so... Let's try and break out this side. So we'll take... Okay, so... Let's grab a pawn while we can. Right, now he's played forward. So I've got to drop the knight back, but at least it threatens a pawn and the rook's trapped if he misses it. Okay, so he goes after my rook. rook back, trying to cover here, so we can always bring the rook to the middle. He might play queen back across, hit the rook and the pawn. Okay, well now he's got his rook trapped, so that should be good enough. I'm not saying it is, but it should be. Right, so I could potentially trade off both rooks here. Just got to be careful there isn't a checkmate coming here. But if he takes with a rook, I've actually got a rook back rank check, and that should be mate in 2. Oh, he's found a lovely move. But if he takes the rook I take with a queen, he can't take back because it's still a back rank mate. Very easy to miss. Very unlucky. Very easy to miss that. Very unlucky indeed. Right, 12 minutes left. Now this is the king's side. It looks reasonably normal. Okay, let's play a pawn up so the knight can come up and support it. So now we can just castle, I think. Yes. Right, so now we can just try and develop normally with pawn up, knight up. Okay, so he offers to open the position up. I think I like the idea of that. I like the idea of doing that. So bishop up with a tempo on the knight. Okay, now I can come up and potentially hit the knight with another tempo from the bishop. I think he's just trying to go forward a bit too eagerly. Might work, of course. It might indeed work. In fact, that's a very, very good move. So I've got to play bishop over. If I take, the queen was there, he's threatening checkmate. So if he takes, I might actually take with a pawn there rather than the knight. Okay, so bishop up to hit the knight. If he advances, I can just take the knight. That should win a pawn. So bishop up. Now I can take his bishop, and he's got to take with a pawn, not a queen. Right, so now I can in turn develop. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Let's get rook across so the knight can drop down here. Again, he's playing very, very, very well indeed. For a 1500, he's playing really well. Right, so offer to trade off a set of knights. I just hope he can't blast in the diagonal. Right, so he does try, but now I think he loses a piece. I think he's lost a piece for the pawn. It's whether or not his queen can jump in at the end. If he doesn't take, then I can block with a bishop. And if his pawn takes, I can just leave it there, and it's just a natural blocker. So now it's a free bishop. Ah, is it? Take the bishop, rook takes. Yes, I can take with a bishop. So I'm hitting the rook anyway, but if he plays rook takes here, I can just take with a bishop. Or I can just plonk my bishop right back there. Okay, so actually, get the queen up. If the queen's come off, then it's definitely game over. So he has to drop back. Okay, so knight up. The bishop's always got an escape square if it needs it. He castles. So grab the pawn and centralise the knight. I think I can play rook up here. And then the other rook across. I've got him bogged down a bit. Right, so now he's trying to win the bishop. So let's throw in a queen check and get the bishop right back. Ah, that gives me rook check. Oh, he's got the queen takes. I'm not protecting the rook. What am I doing? Wow, I've given him the blunder he needed. What a joke of a move that was. That's a puzzle rush style checkmate, but I didn't have the protecting piece. If I get the rook up here though, then I have, but wow. This could easily be lost now. This should be lost now. This really has got to be lost, hasn't it? Got to be. So let's get the knight over, try and make it a little bit tricky. So if the pawn advances, I take the pawn. Okay. So there's a fork. That's protected. I can take that pawn. So I should be back ahead again now. My king's perfectly safe, so get the queen and hit the rook and pawn. Right, yes, now I'm winning again. Okay, how to do this clinically. Let's pin it and trade the rook off. Now win another pawn. If his queen ever wanders off, I just pick up this pawn. Oh, that's it, the queen's off now. That's a nice lovely puzzle rush as well. That's a lovely puzzle rush as well, isn't it? He's got moves, so there's definitely no stalemates. Excellent. Wow, 54 points, I can't believe that. I've had a heck of a good tournament here. Right, 7 minutes left, let's go again. I know, another one, 2082. So again, this is somebody very strong, so I might have a bit of difficulty with this one. Is the pawn up? Just get the bishop up and get castle. In fact, I can just castle now, can't I? Let's just castle. Don't worry about nothing else, just castle. So pawn up ideas. Knight over. So get the pawn forward. Now I'll go for that advanced style position all day long. Ooh, it doesn't quite trap the rook. Doesn't quite work. Right. Now let's play that knight over, then the knight can come here. Okay, offers to trade. I'll just ignore that for a move. If he takes, I take back with the other knight. So how do I get the queen around there? We want to try and come up here. It's an obvious weakness. I think he's just launched it a bit too early there. I hope he has. So if I come forward, knight takes, queen check. I don't think it mates, so I don't think I can play that. Queen up, knight takes, queen check, king back somewhere, my knight can't get in. So that means I've got to try and get the rook across, pin the knight, or protect the pawn. Okay, so I don't really care if he does out there, because I'm actually looking to get over this side. That's where I want to be. Okay, so he weakens his defence again. Knight takes doesn't quite work. Let's take. Drop back. Right, so rook onto the file. Hit the knight. Ooh. Okay, have I got any effective squares? He takes. Gotta take with a bishop, but now I think I'm going to try and put the bishop this side now. Okay, I've got to protect that pawn with a knight, otherwise he can sack. Again, I'm just too slow this game, aren't I? I'm so far down on time. Okay, hit the rook. So queen up, pressure this side. Okay, so he offers to simplify. So if knight takes, rook forward maybe. If knight checks, I think I can take. Right, just drop back. Yeah, I'm just too far down on time on this one. Just playing a strong player and he's just a bit too fast for me. He's clearly a lot stronger than his rating here. I don't think there's any point in taking there, but I just don't see anything better to do. So just get the queen up. What's left? 357. Is it worth playing another game? Yeah, this game's lost. Let's try and fit one more game in. That game's just over, so try and fit another game in. Artak, again, I happen to know he's a lot stronger player than what his rating is. He's a heck of a lot stronger than what his rating is. This could be very awkward as well, couldn't it? I think pawn up, bishop up, and try and castle. Right, so I can castle next move. Okay, so he's coming. Can't I just play forward there? Yeah, the check's covered. If he checks, the knight covers it. Oh, let's try and get forward. Okay, so can I go in? Rook across. I suspect I'll lose it if I go in. So I'm just going to try and blast it open, get the bishop into play. Right, now I'll make sure it's protected. I'm better off taking with that pawn, I think. Yeah, I've got to allow these ideas. Ooh. Is that really playable? If he takes, I've just got to check. He doesn't. I can take. Get rid of my useless bishop. Okay, so throw in a check. Wow, got a draw. I happen to know he's a much stronger player than his rating there, but there's no point playing another game with a minute 30 left, but that's been an amazing tournament. Currently 12th, but I'll probably drop down further than that. A lot of players within a couple of points, but that's amazing. 17.5 out of 24, certainly can't complain with that. So let's just see how all these other players do. Wow, we've really got a 1500 at the top. Right, that's the 1 minute morning, but there's clearly no point playing another game. Now, this has been a really, really good Arena Kings. It's a very good idea having these Fischer Randoms in it. Be very interesting to watch this back over the weekend and see the games where the likes of Ferrugia play. That 22 out of 26, 20 out of 21 for Bortnick, that's incredible. 20 out of 21 where Blitzstream has got 23, but he's played a heck of a lot more games. 20 out of 21, that is just astonishing. When you look at the competition he's got, because he'll be playing all these elite players. Right, it's over, so where did I finish? Oh, it doesn't tell me where I finished, it's only the top 3 there. I've gone down to 14th place. That's not bad at all, that. Not bad at all, that. 55 points. I'll look at that properly over the weekend, but that's been excellent. So thank you to anyone who may have seen this. Wow, that bloody Benjamin.